We are going to execute that thing right here in Houdini with the wrangle. Same thing. So Control C, Control V. You can press Alt A to increase the size of your window, and you can press a tab to make that thing like this we call a white space. We provide sometimes this space so that it will be easy for other people to read out, but it doesn't matter how you are writing this code. In the first line it's float A, and the second line it's float B. We could write the code right here. We can give a value to it, let's say the same value 5, and then the same value. Again, I'm going to execute this code, and we'll see the result of it. We have a two printf function. In the first printf, it is saying the sum, assume sum of number. Okay, I'm going to remove the swara also because we are not asking anything now. So let execute it. Okay, so right, we need to clear it because this was the older output and this was the newer, so they mixed together and it's make us confused. So sorry, clear it, close. We are going to run it again, and this time we got an answer. Sum of number is 15. Same way we could do some nesting. Let's say we have ADD A and B. So nesting we could do with the help of if else command. We could say like if the ADD will be greater than this, something will that. If the ADD will be less than this, something will that. So that's a very simple terms when we use a if else condition. If it, and one more thing, guys, whatever we are writing, it's a C code. We are not using Vex at all, because if you would have used a Vex, that should not have run here in the compiler, and that's running on the internet. So it's not in my machine. Those who like in any case that's going to read the Vex library. So you are learning the C now. You are just watching like how we could write a C program in any compiler. This thing called an editor. The compiler is a software that's like we cannot see it. We can see the editor when we click and run this thing. The compiler actually compile it, and then it's give the result to the output. So that's how it goes. Okay, let's use some if and else condition now. So now we are putting the ADD in that condition, so we have to write that thing after ADD, the float ADD. Okay, so if ADD, one time if you have defined your variable, there's no requirement of keep on defining it what data it is. So one time I have said ADD, that's it. Here we don't need to write ADD again and again. That's float and float. So if ADD will be greater than 10, we are going to write Rusi is not here, or Rusi is not concentrating. So this is a simple line. We could not execute it because this is going to be a string. So you know we how we execute a string. Simply put a semicolon. Now it's become a string. For the print, we need to use a printf function. and this data will go inside that function. That's it. So if ADD is greater than 10, print this, neither neither this last thing, print like uh, module f and then AD. So I'm going to put some number because the scanf function is not working. I don't know what's the reason. Anyway, that's not required because that thing is not in the Vex or not in the compiler of the Houdini. We cannot put any value in the output or a console. We cannot put any number right there. That's only for uh, getting a return value of any data. So A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 2.5. Okay. And you know what's the result of it? Let's put some complex number, something like 1 million or something, 1,012,450. And we are adding this number with this only simple number. So let's run it. Okay, write some number. Rusi is not concentrating. So these two things are running. Now, who can tell me, Amrut, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me why we got this second line, why we got this second line, or why it print the second line also.
1 minute, sir. ADY is equal to A plus B. If ADY is greater than 10, yes, ADY 11,002 for 1 lakh 12,450 plus 2.5 is obviously greater than 10.
So,
So we got the second line, sir.
okay, thank you. Yeah, so that was quite simple. Why we got it. Instead, if you could have written the other form that we called a less than. So, AD less than 10 if AD is less than 10. So you know that is not less than 10. So let me run it. This time we got our answer to. So it says like if this block is not perfect or not giving a right result, run this block. And this block gave me the answer that's like 1 million or something. The result is. Is that okay? Any confusion? Anything? Curiosity to know anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Um, just a second, guys. Uh, now we are going to tell you the what are the operators in coding. Uh, okay, so we can find it from the Google. Actually, it was there in our hard disk, but I'm not finding it. Let's write in the Google. I'll share something in the WhatsApp group. You can go with that thing, and that's like a very small study material for the for this operator and mathematical operator. So let's write operator in C. Okay, so first, what are the group of operators? First is arithmetic, then the rational, then the shift, logical, bitwise, ternary. Swara, could you remember this word?
No, sir.
Try to put pressure on your head. Rusi, are you there? Okay, so Rusi has written a message. He's traveling, so he's just connected with the mobile. Can't hear it. Okay, not a problem. Who can tell me? Amrut, could you tell me what is the ternary?
Ternary, I think so, something like a break or a continue statement.
Okay, so ternary is the form of is the short form of writing if and else. So we can say the ternary or we can say the conditional operators. Then we have a assignment operator and the miscellaneous operators. So let's go with the first one. So first one, you see the plus plus sign, the minus sign, back bracket, and greater than or less than. Okay, so we are going to understand what's this plus plus and minus minus. So again, we are going to in that compiler, and here we are going to change some value to it. So instead of if I'm going to use a different keyword that is a while, that's I wrote there. While is a little dangerous block because it can run your whole code till infinity. So we have to be very clear. And we'll say like A is less than 10 something, then execute this command. We'll remove the else because that's not a part of while statement. And then we'll simply say uh, two things we need to write it here. One thing is A plus plus that's we have learned there, and then okay, A plus plus is quite enough. Let's run this code, and I wish it should not hang my PC. Okay, so here we got something. It says write some number, Swara. Hmm. Okay, so while A is less than 10, A is already greater than 10. So this is not going to work. So in case I am going to write it this as a 9, and we'll run this code again. So here it has print that thing. Uh, Ruchi is not concentrating this line. So it says while it's very close to what we have uh, in a if else condition. So if something is happening, do something, and then we have a while something is keep on happening continuously, then we'll do something. One thing we could do is we could write before a plus plus sign. So a plus plus, and that says like run every time this thing and add one to it. Shifts keep on adding till the time a will become something like this. So a is less than equal to 10. If a is less than equal to 10, a plus plus print Rusi is not concentrating. So this time we got something. The code was terminated due to the compiler error. The function mean expected declaration. Okay, something we have missed it. So it's 18 number line. Something. Okay, we haven't write that braces. So that's started and that should be closed. So you could write the braces after this line, after this semicolon, or just you can press enter and you could write that braces there. Fine. Run it again. Okay, so it's given the same result. Now I want to write the a value inside it, and you know how could we do it? So in the first line, just use that format identifier modulus a is a float, so we'll use f, and then after this thing we'll put a comma, and then what we want to print. So we could write a, the variable. Again, I'm going to run this code. So yeah, we have, okay, just bypass the top one because it's disturbing. We could, if we put a double slash, left double slash, it will generate, create that thing as a comment. Okay, you see, this code has run 7 times. Each time it has written the same thing. So we need to write it one by one, like 10 times, less than is equal to. So printf %f print a. This n indicate to print this thing in each line. So let's see. Now we got two thing. One is 10 and then one is 11. So why? Because a is 9, 10. So it is going to read two value. One is 9, one is 10. And each time it's adding 1 to it. Okay, let's make this thing to 0. And we'll run this code again. Wow, what's a beautiful thing. We got a very beautiful number with the text written, and this 10 times we did it with this while. So it says while a is less than 10, run this code, and we are adding each in each, that we call the iteration. So that's we call a iteration. Iteration mean how many times your loops is running. Look, you have you seen that player, window media player, long time back, or any player that you use in your computer? One is VLC. So when we play a song, there is option called loop, even that is in the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
And that loop is very similar what we have here. So, but we have to put some condition. How many times do you want to run that loop? So that's a is less than equal to 10. So the first time when it run, so it's add 0 plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is the result of 1. Then it's keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, and in the last it says is less than and equal to 10, mean less than also and sometime equal to. So here we have a both the thing. If I would have write a is equal to 10, like double equal sign, if I would have write it, then the condition would say like in that condition, do this work. Only in that condition. Like if A will be 10, so A is not 10 at all. So this code is not going to run in that case.
So what is the difference between single equal to and double equal to?
Okay, we'll go there. So you got to know what is the double plus sign. The same is the double minus sign. The revert value of that. You know plus minus, that's a not sign, not, and this is the sign that we call a approximate. These both signs are not required for our training. Then we have a multiplication sign, and for multiplicative, the word is very new to me anyway. So we have a asterisk, we have a left slash, and we have a modulus. Adding a value and subtracting a value, shifting value not in our session, rational not in our session, equality. So here we have a double equal sign. So this says is not mean equal. Okay, one thing is very important. Sorry. So one thing is very important. This okay, Swara, read this two line which I have selected aloud.
Float A equals to 0, float B equals to 2.5.
So when you are reading it, you are doing a very big mistake. What is that mistake? Who can tell me? The the speaker are not Swara. Apart from Swara, both of them. So Amrut, what Swara is, what mistakes he is doing, and same with the Bhakti.
Float A is equal to 0, float B is equal to 2.5.
Okay, you are also doing a mistake. What mistake you are doing?
Comment your code goes here. Float A is equal to 0 semicolon. Float B is equal to 2.5 semicolon.
So Bhakti is also doing a error or reading it wrong. What it is?
It's describing variables.
Yeah, very close to that. Or I should say, is it describing a variable or defining a variable? This sign, when you are writing a code in the computer sign, this is not a equal thing. Float A is equal to 0. That's not true. We are not
A means 0.
not Bhakti. Let me tell you. So float A is equal to 0. This sign is not a equal to sign. This symbol. What is this symbol and why we put it? And how could, when, if the symbol is not equal, how could we write it? How could we read it? So it's very straightforward and a very uh, what what should I say? It's a very practical thing. Why I'm telling you practical? Let's say A is your box. That box is, you are holding that box, and that name of that box is A, and inside that you put a 0. So what you are going to tell? You'll tell that float A assign a value to 0, or 0 is assigned to A. Is that clear? And the same will be 2.5 assigned to B. It's like a teacher in a classroom. So we can say, Vibha, teacher Vibha, you have assigned section C. So you have to take a class of that batch. And some teacher have assigned to something else. The same way, this is a assigned value. But sometimes we can read like a is equal to 0. That's fine. But in the term of the computer science, we cannot say is equal to 0. In case if you want to say what you are saying, you have to write double equal. Now it's a is equal to 0. The float a is equal to 0. And this is the wrong statement. We cannot, this mean a is equal to 0 means you are comparing it left to right. The value of a and the value of 0 is same. That's what you are saying. And that's why it's a is equal to 0. So once you are comparing it, you cannot compare right by writing a float. If I'm going to run this code, we got an error. And this error will come in the Houdini also. So if you want to write this thing, double equal sign, you could simply write the condition. So a is equal to 10, while a is equal to 10, do this kind of stuff. If not, you don't have to do anything. So I'm running this code again. Okay, your code was executed successfully. There's no return value because a is not equal to 10. A is equal to 0. Let's put a 10 value here and run this code again. So a is like a is assigned to 10 or 10 is assigned to a. Every time when we talk in English, the assigned word is a very uncommon word. That's why we always say equal to, equal to, equal to, equal to, and that's a mathematical term. But here the things is very different. It's very close to that, but that's not exactly a equal thing. Equal thing we have written here. The double equal in the mathematics which you have learned as of now, that thing is equal in the computer science.
Okay, sir.
Okay, okay, let me run this code again. Wow, 11 iteration value. Because it's run only one time, because these things are matching only one time, and that time it's adding 1 plus 1 to the original number. So a have a 10, it add, we could, in the other form, we could write it as I have shown you, a is equal to a plus 1. Write a minus 1 too. Okay, now we have a two things. We'll write a minus 5. Okay, we'll write a minus minus. So you guys can play with this thing. So here we have wrote a plus plus, then we have wrote a minus minus. Let's see what's going to happen. Your code took more than 1 second to compile. Okay, the problem is here when 1 minus minus sign is there, this thing like your while going to run in endless loop. But once we'll do it, change that value a plus plus, it has given me the exact number, that's 9. Any doubt, any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay, so we are going to take a break for 5 minutes and we'll come
Okay,
back at 11:01 or 11:02. Okay,
Okay, sir.
okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
see you guys. Hello everyone.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so let's go back there. Okay, so we got a code, and let's see what else we have. So we have an AND bitwise OR, that is not uh, required in our case, and few bitwise operator. One is and one is OR. So this both the things are very important, and OR. Then we have some logical operator, double and double OR. So bitwise and OR, we generally don't write it. If we want to write anything that says and, you have to write this word. Okay, the question might arise, where in which syntax we could write and. We cannot write float a is equal to 10 and a is equal to 20. Or we can write a is equal to 10 and 20. That generate an error. Let me see. And 20. Let's run this code. Okay, so that's not error, but we are not getting a number, any value to it. So let's say we'll put something like okay, a is equal to 10 and 20. It should be a 30, right? And in that case, the code should run with this input, but still not working because those things are not 30 at all. Those things are just 10 and 20. We can say a is equal to 10 and 20. So it's not like 30. We are not adding it. So these are the very common mistakes a newcomer do when they come to the programming. They think like in English, we say, uh, I have a 10 apple and plus and not plus, like I have a 10 apple and two more or two apple. So I have a 10 apple and two apple. So other people will think, yeah, okay, 10 and 2, that's 12. He has a 12. So people will speak like, yes, he have a 12 apple, he has a 12 apple. But in computer science, it's not like that. He has a 10, he has a 2. So he has a 10, he has a 2. Everybody have to say that way. Like he has a 10 and he has a 2 apple. He has a 10 apple and he has a 2 apple. It's looking very odd. You cannot talk like that. If you talk, people will think like you're an idiot. Not an idiot. You are crazy. Crazy mean your first floor is not there with your body. Crazy. We cannot talk like that. So yes, for that thing you have to write either add it or you have to write in a if else condition. So these things are very common in if else. So we are going to write if else on the above the while. So if this let's play with b. So b is if b is less than equal to 5 and b is greater than 10, run this code. Very simple syntax. We got braces, unneeded braces. Fine. So one braces is for the while, another one is for the if. Greater than 5 and less than. Okay, now this whole thing has come in the block of if, and this whole thing is in the block of while. So while is in the block of if. If the condition will match, only then the while is going to run and try to match this thing. So I'm going to write a 10 here, just the value what it has of a. I'm going to run this code and let's see what's going to happen. So run. Wow, very beautiful. Nothing happened. We haven't got anything, but our code is exactly right. Doesn't have any problem. So what we are going to do, we are going to put something in that condition. So this, let's say you have a point or that have a velocity, and that's because of the of dynamic DOP network. It is moving from one position to the other. In between the positions, you could write like if the point will come in that position to this position, it color will be red, neither it will be white. So if you are writing if A is something and B is something, you can write the else also, like we have wrote in the last example. Okay, so else, what will be the else? Else will be AB is equal to any number, so 0.000 semicolon. That's nothing. We just want to use the else. That's why we wrote this thing. You cannot left after writing else. You have to write something. You cannot left that empty or idle. Okay, so b is greater than 5, less than 10. So that value will be okay. What is the value of this? Amrut, tell me.
Yes, sir.
What are the value of those that is written in the if condition?
In the if condition, yeah, float ADY is equal to 12.5, that's over. While A is equal to 10, 10 then 10, 10 plus 1, 11, and the next.
Where are you, man? Why you are not reading the if thing? Amrut, why you are not reading the if condition?
So there won't be any output because A, wait, while A is equal to 10, A plus plus.
Amrut, why you are not reading the if condition? If if condition, can't you see in your monitor?
Sir, I can only see while, sir.
So yes, that's a problem. You are not, your monitor is not reading, or your internet is not reading my current thing. So
If
there is a
B
problem.
greater than 5 and B greater than 10. So no, so B is neither there, so there would be no output at all.
Okay, Amrut.
This
Swara,
while this bracket won't be
Amrut,
executed.
thank you, Amrut. Thanks a lot. Swara,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or
yeah, yeah, that's very cool. I'm impressed, little bit impressed, Swara, from you. So why it is 5? Because already is written greater than equal to, not the greater than. But on the other hand, B is written like less than only, not equal to. So B is less than 10 mean any number till 9. From any number till 9. From infinity to till 9. That's the second B's value. And here B is saying like B is greater than or equal to 5. So always start from B 5 to 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can write any number between this here in the A, sorry, here in the B. So let's write so that is this condition will match. We're going to write 7.5. I'm going to run this code again. Okay, we got an error and that says in function main the error AB. Okay, what AB is not declared. I'm so sorry. We need to declare it. These are the silly mistake. That's a float. Okay, run it again. Again, then this is error. We cannot write 0.0000 something. It will be funny. It will be something like that. So it's a meaningful. If you're writing 0.0000, it better write a single zero. Why you are writing point a decimal thing? Did you ever find a zero in the decimal? Could anybody can write? Bhakti, is that a logical thing if you write point double zero?
Hello, hello, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Is that a logical thing if you write point double zero?
Point double zero.
Yes.
No, no, sir.
Why?
0.0 is equal to zero, right? So
Yeah.
point, yeah, so point zero is also zero.
Yes. Zero. But I like to write point double zero.
Yeah, if we want, we can write it, but the
Okay.
both the meanings are same.
Both the meanings are same. If we want, we can write it. So Bhakti, that's a problem. Logically, that's the right thing. But for mathematic things or for computer science, we cannot write that thing. Because
Okay,
if you
sir.
want to write zero, zero cannot be divided in the fractional number. It's not possible. If anybody can do it, that person will be alien with extraordinary mind. So he might have come from the space and he said, yeah, we can divide the zero into fractional form. And the human will get shocked by knowing that. But no aliens are coming, no fractional or the decimal values we can use with the zero. So the closest number is, if I put 1, so 0.0001. Let's run it again. Oh my god, keep getting error. Expected expression before this. I don't want this thing. Let's remove it. Or maybe later on we'll try it. So expected expression before this. So we don't have anything about here that said AD. So let's instead of AB, let's say AD. So now we have a new value of the AD. Okay, so let's run it. Again, the same thing, AD 0.001. I don't want to write this. Why this giving an error? Sometimes, a compiler cannot understand properly, but if I'll write this code in other compiler, it will run because that's not an error at all. Okay, we got an answer this time, 9 iteration value. So a minus minus, that's a 10 minus 1, 9. Why this code is running? Because of this reason. So we got to know what the end is. Now let's play with the OR. Okay, so I'm removing this bracket because this bracket says, yeah, this syntax is completed. We don't want to complete it. And we'll move this bracket also. Now we have one bracket that's put to condition. And we got it. Okay, so what this, the whole syntax which I'm selecting, what this thing are saying. Amrut, please read it, what it's saying and what's the meaning of that.
What is, yeah, if B is equal to 0.25 or B is equal to 23, printf cool. If so, it should be either of these two values strictly. If not, no value, it won't give the output.
So how this OR is different with the AND? Here is one syntax, here is one conditional syntax. So what is the difference between and or in both the thing?
And is like say, and is like you, like say you and is like you and me. Only if a task could be executed with if only two of these conditions satisfied, or is like one either of them is fine.
Yeah. So, okay, Amrut, thank you. So these two values are bound to each other, but here these two values are free to each from each other. What is the meaning of that, Swara? I'm telling these two values are bound to each other, and these two values are free from each other.
Sir, like if we use and, then the both the conditions they have to be true. Like b has to be greater than equal to 5 and b has to be less than 10. Then only the code will be executed. But if we use or, then even if b is 0.25 or b is 23, then for example, in first case the b is 0.25, then the code it would be printed cool. And second time if b is 23, then also it would be printed cool.
Okay, so here we have let's go ahead. We have one more variable. Thank you, Swara. So we have one more variable, and you're right. So C is equal to a minus 1, and that we are going to write here. Okay, so technically this setup is right, but even though the printf is not running this thing, so let me write the accurate number here. If I'm going to write 7.5, so it's going to run. Yeah, so we got our cool statement right there. We could write as the same left slash by n to put in the other line. So we got our cool value because these values are matching either one, either this or this. So we got this thing is solved, and this is the ternary conditional statement. We'll learn this thing, and then the assignment. So we have learned this thing plus equal to. We'll learn in the coming days minus equal to asterisk equal to not equal to that okay. So all the assignment we are going to learn in the coming days, and that's how our operator concept is completed. So here we have all the operator that we have discussed here. So one thing is left. Just remind me to complete this assignment operator. Okay, guys, so that's a thing. And one more thing, that's really important. We have completed about we have completed and we have seen what is the difference between and or. If we'll go in the sorry, so if we'll go inside the warp, Vex have the same concept. Every language that's were available for the human beings have a same concept, and we'll have this code that run in the form of nodes that we call a warp. So here in the warp, we will go to the utilities, we'll find or and we'll find and. So and so these two things are very useful if you want to create something in the warp. Try to utilize this thing the same way we have utilized the code. So your task for this week is you are going to create the same setup. You are going to create the same setup in the Vex, sorry, in the warp. If I'm write this code in the Vex without the main function, and the Vex mean in the wrangle,
Sir.
1 minute, we have almost completed. Then I will see your file. Okay, once done, I'm going to click anywhere, and we got our example like thing, and it's running more better than that compiler. So it has run the top one also, and that's very logical. Sum of num. Clear it. That's not logical because it was a previous output. So clear it. Click on the window and press Control Enter. So that's a universal shortcut of executing any program. If you are writing a JavaScript, Java, HTML, CSS, any language, Control Enter is the normal thing to execute a program. Okay, so I need to change the value a little bit because already it was given a output once, so it cannot give that twice. You need to change something, a slight thing. We got a green dot here, that's a warning that says something is not right, and what is not right, you could go and find it out. So that's acceptable. Um, okay, so this AD was declared 2 times, that's why. One time it was declared something this, and then it would declare this. So it says you cannot declare 2 times same value. But you know what? We can declare 100 times one by one. That's not a rule. Even say the warning, just leave it. Not a problem. So your task is to create the same setup in the warp. Is that clear? So today
Yes.
was last day. We have discussed about the whole thing. Today we have started our training of the coding. Okay, so in the next day, we are going to the next step of this. We are going to use other looping statement. We'll figure it out that looping statement in the wrangle with the same CVEX concept, and we'll try to use some of the function of the Vex, some more function of the Vex in that wrangle. We'll try to understand the class. That's one of the important thing. And the another important thing, we'll try to understand the process of SIMD. And I know that you. I hope you guys know the full form of it. Uh, Bhakti, what is SIMD?
Hello.
Yeah, Bhakti, what is SIMD?
SIMD.
I've told you in the last session.
Yeah, you told me in the first session. I just don't remember it now.
Anything?
No.
Okay, don't put too much pressure on your brain. I'm shifting my question to Swara. Swara, you have heard this multiple times.
Single instruction, multiple data.
Okay, so we are going to learn that single instruction multiple data in the next chapter, and that's one of the little complicated thing of the Houdini. It's not a problem of the C language; it's a problem of the Houdini. So, moral of the story is that you guys got to know today that a C program can be exactly written in the Vex format or a place where Vex should be run. So, and with that, we got to know like there is no difference between Vex and C. So, if anybody can write a C, they can easily write the Vex or C Vex.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, so that's for the today lesson, and we'll meet on Thursday again.
Sir,
Yeah, Amrut. If anybody want to stay here, Amrut, okay. If anybody want to stay here, want to see the Amrut file, it's okay. If not, you can
it is
leave.
not my personal file, sir.
Okay, so is that okay if any other people will see?
Seeing, yeah, may not be, it may be a problem.
Anyway, not a problem.
Or
Bhakti,
I'll just re-record it.
Bhakti and Swara will
Yes,
meet
sir.